Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track by an act named Smazilla. Smazilla? Titled Vivid Dream, and if we switch over to here, we have the track on the screen. We're going to be listening through this from a start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Let's make a big screen. Actually, no, we'll do this here. I want to give a huge thank you to my bro, RYT Music, for making this for me. Also, my video is on his channel. Go to this link to check it out. Sweet. So you can go do that if you like as well. But yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Vivid Dream. Excellent work with these oscillating synths and the triplet feel in those sequences. It's really colorful so far, actually. I'm really enjoying it. Gonna be honest, like I'm kind of vibing with this. The vocals had me for a moment. I was like, that's an interesting texture and that's a really intense delay on those vocals. But at the same time, I'm starting to like it. Dude, it's a banger actually. The way those kicks are sidechain, that's what I think the intro was missing, but I'm also glad we didn't because it hit differently with the vocals and the kit, you know? Would you kiss me with my spoon? I want all of that balloons. I'm not sure. I mean, this is Vivid Dream, of course, so this could be like a dream sequence we're having. Well, where did we go with this? If I die, bury me. What? This got really dark all of a sudden thematically. So like, we want to bring me back to the moon. Are we flying high? Is this a vivid dream? Or are we struggling to cope with this person in our life? I like the fact that we had an airiness there, that the drums kicked out a little bit, you know. I like the fact that we had that space there. I am also simultaneously conflicted because I'm not really sure how to interpret the story. We've got that one motif, that one theme there, that 4-line bass line. No, it's a 3-line bass line, isn't it? And that's it, man. That's that. We don't want to listen to Rag and Bone Man. We're not doing that. We're listening to Vivid Dream by Smazilla. Because this is the conclusion of my review of this track by Smazilla, titled Vivid Dream. What do I think this track is about? I think it's about someone who is imagining someone when they are sleeping, or maybe it's something they've got when they're awake. It's just an overall concept they've got in their head. And it is really intense for them. They're talking about balloons and stuff like that, and spoons and stuff like that. And I'm not sure if they were using those words necessarily to not only rhyme, but if that's part of it. But it's just, you know, you can imagine all these images from that. Obviously, because they're describing things, that's a given. But that's storytelling, and because it's so unusual, like talking about doing stuff in June and stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing now. And I think that kind of meandering in the kindest possible way, I don't mean it as a detriment. I think when we're talking about dreams, they are kind of like that. They're really trippy, really sort of unusual and unorthodox. So I think the story that's told, you know, Bury Me to Die, we get a little bit sort of like a bit more horrendous later on. It gets really dark, and I think that may be like the dream turned into a nightmare, but we eventually pull out of that and go back into a loop of maybe a preferential dream. You know, saying someone looks like a cartoon, it's kind of like a fantasy or something like that. And I've enjoyed listening to this track. I think that the vocal performance is good. The words did come through clearly for the most part. I think that we have someone on the mic who knows the story they want to tell and understands like music theory and composition to an extent where like they know to repeat melodies in order to make them meaningful and memorable. We have someone who knows exactly how to harmonize with the rest of the instruments in the mix. And yeah, the words did come through clearly. We had good vocal technique. We didn't have a lot of ornamentation or like any sort of like crazy melodic runs or anything, but I think that sort of minimalism is welcome in this situation. I think if you over-egg the pudding, so to speak, with vocals, sometimes it can be a detriment, especially when the main theme of the song slaps like it did in this. I mean, the motif of this track, you had these kind of really misty sort of like dreamlike. I love the fact I'm in a new studio and I've just realized I can see my arms move out that far because of how I position stuff. I'm really happy that I've got with my setup. I don't know if it's better for you guys getting to like look at these reviews, but anyways, getting back to the review, just the way that those sequences go, I like that we've got that triplet groove going between that and then the straight sort of eighth note. Yeah, there's an eighth note groove that we've actually got. An eighth note groove with the vocals. So we messed around with triplets with those synth sequences and an eighth notes with the vocal melodies. And I think that's something that can kind of induce that sort of like unusual sort of like a sense of strangeness that I think is welcome when we're talking about the subject matter we are here. I think that, you know, with the motif though, getting back to that, I think it was nice and simple with that bass line, the kick, and the other elements there in the mid to high ranges. And it was catchy as hell, man. That 2 of the A and then the B and C chord. Not literally, I know we were using different notes, but that A, B, C structure with these chorus runs is, and it continued with the verse as well. We knew exactly what we were doing. We've got a firm understanding of composition and how to make a banger of a track from a songwriting standpoint, but also there was not a single note out of place. I liked the choices we made, cutting some instruments out and bringing them back in. And ultimately, I don't really see any major weaknesses within a track like this. I think we had just genuinely a song written by someone who knew what they wanted from the outset, not only lyrically, but also from the production and everything like that, and they managed to achieve it. And again, there was a sense of minimalism with the actual accompaniment as well. We didn't have any sort of crazy, weird lead bits or anything like that. We didn't. There was nothing redundant. There was also no filler. It's really good use of space. But yeah, the performance was fantastic. You know, I'm really happy. I don't think we needed to add more to it. I'm glad we didn't have less, and especially considering it's like a 2.5 minute track, that's short. So if you to go like chorus, verse, chorus like that, a little bit of elaboration going on in that midsection there, it's charming. And the production, the recording, mixing, and mastering was great. There might have been some resonances in the mid-high frequencies and the vocals, but I think that would maybe just that mistiness there, that reverb chain there, that kind of outer worldliness, like someone floating around in the ether. I think that's the kind of impression I got from that. So in that way, it was effective and made sense with the rest of the elements of the mix. I also enjoyed the way that the drums, the bass, and everything else sounded. I think that it was very, sorry to say this, very, very musical. I know it's so basic, but it's just, you know, if you can sterilize a track to the point where it doesn't even sound like a song, it just sounds like someone doing like an exhibition of their audio production skills. You know, this was a tune. I mean, compression and like leveling of the instruments mix was great as well. We also had just a fantastic sense of like equilibrium with what's happening in the stereo field as well. It was nice and wide without sort of being resonant on one side or the other, and then everything was notched on the frequency spectrum, and then the compression limiting. I know have I talked about limiting compression? It was nice and loud without pumping. Yeah, just it was really tight. All in all, this is a very positive first impression from me with Vivid Dream by Smazilla. And that is effectively our review of this track. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show Smazilla some love. via their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either how more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.